Here are some financial tips from Old Money. In this section, the helpful hints are very long, so please bear with me. It's not what you make, it's how you manage what you make. That is essentially the theme of this book too, because a lot of people, when they hear the title of the book, they run for the hills because they think that he's trying to beat you over the head and tell you how to become a millionaire. He's not. And he doesn't even believe that all of Old Money are people who are millionaires and have all of this liquid cash. What he's doing in this book is imparting the knowledge of how to maintain your lifestyle with whatever makes sense for you. And he gives you very useful and practical tips that anybody can use. But for some reason, these things are typically practiced more so by people who have the money and don't necessarily need it than by impoverished communities who tend to be victims of consumerism more than anything. So write down your financial goals, look at them every 2 months, assess your progress and plan, adjust accordingly. Know what you're working with, planning, saving, and investing. That's a tip that Ramit Sethi talks about too, and I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I do have a playlist for that book, but he talks about that a lot in there as well. Do not buy things to fill emotional needs. Work, religion, family, and friends fill emotional needs. When you see something in a store, ask yourself, what will happen if I don't buy this? If it's food and you don't want to be hungry, buy it. If it's optional and you'll honestly feel no different, don't buy it. If you feel like you missed out on real value, you can afford it. And you can afford it, consider it. And if you do buy it, pay cash. Let me pause for a second. Every time I make a video about like, these are things you don't need, but you think that you do, or these are insanely ridiculous decisions that we've made over the course of time, but we really need to stop doing it. Somebody's always like, you're trying to tell people to live in lack. I'm not going to be practical. I'm going to do what I want. Do whatever you want, but you can't do whatever you want and then complain about not having the money that you need. Make a decision. And honestly, this advice is not necessarily for everyone, but I do find that after years of doing this, where you start to make decisions and be like, I don't really need to do that. That's a waste of my money. Even when you come to a point where you have the money to splurge on certain things, you still won't splurge on those things because they're not valuable to you. But you will splurge on things that do matter to you. You will take the money and go on a vacation, but maybe you're like, I don't really need somebody playing in my hair at a hair appointment. For every person is going to be different. So listen to these in that regard. Don't be offended and triggered and feel the need to defend your decisions, because literally nobody cares. You can do what you want. It's your life. The things you buy are things you use every day. Then the first things you buy are things that you use every day. Then you purchase things you use every week. Then things seasonally. If you're only using something once a year, give serious thought as to why you are buying it. That's an excellent conversation when it comes to your wardrobe as well. It's better to build your basics out and to have like your regular things that you're going to wear all the time. And then you add a little sprinkle and flair. And then you get into your seasonal items. But a lot of times we just overdo it. We shop with our eyes and our emotions, and we end up getting things that we don't need and don't use. Don't shop when you're really upset or really ecstatic. Shop on an even keel. When shopping is a social activity and done with friends, remember that you don't have to buy anything. It's about friendship and not spending. Do not feel peer pressure to buy an expensive gift for someone if you cannot afford it. If someone gives you an expensive gift, thank them. If they expect you to reciprocate in kind, feel free to tell them to let them be disappointed. Buy gifts and give them for the joy of giving, not out of social obligation. Always remember birthdays and other important dates, but always give within your means. This will prevent resentment. Put more thought into a gift and you will often spend less money on it. I think this is so true. Some of the best gifts that I've received have not even been really expensive. They've just been very thoughtful and very much so like, oh, this person knew what I needed and what I wanted. And I love that they took the time to send that to me. If you can't spend a lot of money on a gift, take the person out for coffee or a drink. Spend time with them. Tell them what they mean to you. To hear that can be a quiet present. There are get rich quick schemes and get rich quick screams. One is from those who fall for the other. Look at items in your home or closet that have not been used in 12 months. Ask yourself why you brought them. Remember how you answer. Pack them up and give them away to someone who can use them. With the exception of like, if it's dead summer and you're like, oh, I haven't used my coat in 6 months. Girl, you're going to need it again in winter. Don't pack that up. Oh, I haven't used my boots. You're going to need it again in winter. Okay. He's saying if it's a reason that you're not using that thing year in and year out, you need to get it out of there. If you give to charity, get a receipt and write it off on your taxes. When you get a promotion, pay increase, or windfall, reward yourself and those you care for with a small percentage of it. Make sure your reward has lasting value, something of quality, something with meaning. Take pride, feel good, celebrate. But be circumspect about how much you share money and information with others. Put the rest of the money away. Financial or investment advice you see on television or read in a magazine, newspaper, or online is usually substandard. Solid investment advice is most consistently communicated person to person, face to face, by a professional who has spent many years working and learning how the financial markets function and how various investment products perform. I also think that you have to consider the fact that all financial advice is not going to be the same. What may be beneficial for somebody who has more money available is not going to be beneficial for somebody who's just getting started out. So that's another point to take away. That's going to be a personal thing. These advisors can be very good at their job and have a great track record. But remember, they're giving you their best guess. That's all. Do your own homework. Nobody will look after your money like you. Ask the investment advisor if they're invested in the same products they're recommending to you. Do not take investment advice from poor people for obvious reasons. Every investment has risk. Know your comfort level for risk. Know that you must risk in order to make progress in life or investments. Manage your risk, because that's the thing too. A risk can be very risky or it can be less risky, but it's still a risk. Learn something from every mistake. Remember what you've learned and never repeat the same mistake twice. Avoid big mistakes. Make sure before you invest a dime, think about how long it's taken for you to accumulate the money you're considering investing. If you inherited it, think of how long it took your ancestors to accumulate it. It's an obvious truth that a stockbroker believes the stocks are a good investment. Ask for references from anyone who wants to handle or invest. Ask for references for anyone who wants to handle or invest your money. Do research. Call those references, and if possible, meet them in person. Moderate your personal involvement with those who handle your money. You may have to fire them. Regardless of the economic climate, there are always investments performing well. Extravagance is the fear of poverty and the need for attention. Discretion is the fear of nothing and the need for nothing. The only acceptable display of wealth is charity. If you want to have the wing of the Children's Hospital named after you, go for it. Keep a journal. Write down what you spend money on every day at the very moment you spend it. Do this for 30 days. You will eliminate wasteful habits. I think decluttering does that for you as well. You declutter enough stuff and you realize that you keep decluttering stuff that you got from Home Goods or from the clearance rack at Walmart. You're going to stop doing that. You're going to stop spending your little $5, $10, $15, $20 here and there because all you do is toss it out. Work hard and live below your means. Save and invest your money wisely. When you can afford a luxury, acquire it and enjoy it unapologetically, but best in private. Do not be cheap with your family and friends. Do not be foolish either. Earn steadily, save regularly, and spend slowly. Carefully review your monthly expenses. Consider alternatives. What if you didn't pay $100 a month or more for cable television? What if you didn't pay retail for weekly manicures and pedicures? Give to a reputable charity regardless of your income level. Most of the really enjoyable things in life don't require a large capital outlay. Find those and do those. And I talk about this all the time. We make it seem like you have to go outside and spend a whole bunch of money. No, you need to be very diligent and careful. One thing I'm going to do is pack some lunch and bring our own water, and the world is ours, because honestly it'd be the food that be eating us up when we go out. But there are things that you can do for free for little to nothing and still have a good time. Do not use credit cards, debit cards, or ATM cards to buy things. Pay cash. You will spend less and have more. Do not discuss your financial situation with friends. Discuss your financial situation with family selectively. Keep your assets highly liquid, the return on investment steady, and your overhead low. Do the math. If you lost your job tomorrow, could you live for 3 months on the money you have in the bank? Could you live for 6 months, a year? Could you live comfortably on investment income for 5 years, the rest of your life? Are your children taken care of? Your grandchildren? Forget expensive cars and jewelry. This is the old money measure of wealth. There's a reason old money spends money the way it does and on the things it does and prepares the way it does. Think about it, analyze it, imitate it, benefit from it. Again, all good advice. Sometimes when we are more impoverished or poor, we feel like we don't want to hear this type of advice because that's not what rich people are doing. But what he is explaining here is practical advice that anyone at any level in any set of circumstances can take advantage of. Again, do what you want with the information. This is coming from the Old Money book by Byron Tully.